Hello beautiful people, it's Miss Deacon coming at you, and right about now I'm going to continue with the public service announcement lesson, which is your performance task, for one of your performance tasks for this unit. So in order to assist you with that, I'm going to provide you with a couple tools that you can actually use. One of them is Audacity, the other one is Windows Movie Maker. So you will be using Audacity, which is an audio editing recording tool that you'll be able to use for your radio version of your public service announcements, and then for your video version of your public service announcements you'll be using Movie Maker. So first off, we're going to begin with Audacity. Now you should already have Audacity if you're on the school's computer. Otherwise you can download it free. When you download Audacity, you will have to be able to download Lame as well, which is not accessible via Audacity directly, but if you go to the preferences, you'll be able to download Lame from there. Lame allows you to basically download files that are M4A, not the typical MP3 type files. So movie files, for example, you will be able to download through Audacity, but you do need Lame in order to do so. So I've clicked on Audacity, and initially this screen on how to get help pops up. So I'm just going to click on that. Now for this lesson, we're going to actually write and produce a public service announcement for one of your performance tasks. So the first thing that you want to do is, of course, you want to write your script, and by the time you're on Audacity you would have written your script, tested your script to make sure that it's in the requirements of 30 seconds. You would have also made sure that it met the requirements as per the criteria that we co-constructed in class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open an audio file which I've pre-recorded. Now you can actually record directly into Audacity, and if you notice right up here you've got like a menu that looks like the buttons on your MP3 player, right? So you've got to pause, you've got to play, you've got to stop, rewind, forward, and your record button. Okay, and I'm going to actually maximize this, and then you'll notice that we actually have little things that look like a microphone, and those are actually your record buttons, your monitors, right? So if you click on start monitoring, then that will allow you to actually see the VU meter, and you can see the levels. When you're recording, you can see the levels of the room because your VU meter will go up and down. Since I've already pre-recorded the public service announcement on my cell phone, I've pre-recorded it on my phone and then I've uploaded it. So I'm going to actually import the file into Audacity. So we'll go to File, and then we'll click on Import, and we'll click on Audio. Now if you've not downloaded Lame, then you will have difficulties downloading your file if it's like an M4A file, for example. So it's important that you make sure to download Lame. So I've created a folder actually, which I've called PSA, Air Public Service Announcement, and the public service announcement that we're doing today is on air. So I'm going to click on that folder, and then I'm going to actually first find the vocal track. Okay, so I'm going to find the track that I actually pre-recorded, and I should find that. It's an M4A file right here. So I'm going to click on that and click on Open. Now when it opens, you'll notice like a bunch of little lines going up and down. What that represents is the actual sound file, the waves. So as your voice fluctuates, you'll notice that these little blue lines will fluctuate as well. So I'm going to actually just play you a little sample so you can see what I'm talking about.
It's much better fresh, cold, or warm. If it's not clear, it can make you sick.
Okay, so what we're going to do right now is you'll notice that at the beginning you didn't hear anything, right? Because that's when I had turned on the microphone, and you'll notice that the wave files go up and down here, but they're just basically flat right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete that. And the way you basically cut and paste, just think of your typical Windows Microsoft functions, right? So basically you're going to highlight, so you just click, hold, and drag. And I'm going to get rid of all of that because that's all silence, right? And remember that your public service announcement is within 30 seconds. And I'm about 31 and a half. So I'm going to shave that by highlighting it. Then I'm just going to press delete, or you could have gone to edit and hit cut or delete. And then this piece right here, just so that my file's nice and clean, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to highlight, and you can either press delete or you can go to edit, cut, or delete. I'm just going to delete it because we don't want that. So we've gotten rid of that. Now the next thing we want to do is we may want to add an effect to it, right? So if you look at the functions up top, you'll notice you've got file, which is where of course you'd save or export your file. We've got view in terms of how you view your actual screen, and you've got options for your history mixing board. You've got transport as well. And then transport just relates to the actual file, whether you select a particular area and you want to loop it, meaning to continue, like go back to the beginning, skip to start, skip to end. So it just really refers to how you play the file. Tracks allows you to actually add more tracks to your project. You can mix it in stereo, and you can do different things with the actual track itself. Okay, generate means that you can basically select a spot within your project, and you can add certain functions to it. So if you wanted silence, for example, you could highlight, say from here, let's say, yeah, from here, and I highlighted it, click generate, I could put silence, and I'll say okay. And you'll notice now that the area is flat, meaning that there's nothing happening there. But I don't want to do that, so I'll just press Control Z, and it returns it to the original state. So that's generate. As well, you've got effects. Now, the effects is my favorite part of Audacity, because this is where you have fun and you go to town with all the different functions that you can do. So you can add a reverb if you want, you can add an echo, you can amplify the sound, so many things you can actually do with this, right? Usually what I like to do is add more bass to my voice. Depending on the type of commercial that I'm doing, I may want to give it an airy sound, or I may want to just keep it natural. So for this particular case, I'm just going to keep it natural, but all you would have to do if you wanted to add an effect is basically just highlight, the entire track, hit effect, and then you select what you'd like. So in this particular case, I'll hit compressor. And what a compressor does is compress your sound. So when you've got like high peaks, for example, it kind of compresses it so everything is on one level. So I've compressed that. Oh, and as I remember with this, what I want to do is kind of, but I'll fade out and fade in with the music. So that's basically your audio track. You can analyze the track as well, do a beat finder, silence finder, and then you've got a help function. Okay, so that's your audio track. Okay, so once again, I just pre-recorded it. Once I pre-recorded it, I imported it into Audacity. And then from there, you can just play around with the track. Right? And then as you remember, the requirements is for your public service announcements to be 30 seconds. And this is at almost 30 seconds on point. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, sometimes you may want to add music or add something to, you know, sound effects, whatever, to your commercial, to your production, to, you know, add a little bit of flavor to it. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to add another track. So we'll go to tracks and add new. And I'm going to say audio track. And now what I'm going to actually add here is a music bed. So you can basically do that from any like music track that you may have in your iTunes or on your MP3 player, you just go File and you go Import Audio, and then you just find the audio file that you're looking for. So in this particular case, the audio file is on my external hard drive. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to just click on one of these links. And you'll see that it uploads your music track. Okay, so now that's uploaded. Okay, oh, just going to get rid of that there. So you could either add a track, or if you're importing a file, right? So if you added the track, you could actually cut and paste or drag and drop directly on there. In this particular case, because I imported it, it actually gave me a separate track. So I'm just going to get rid of this track right here. And now you notice that we've got a music bed right here. There's a little X right here, a mute, which will mute the actual track. X got rid of the previous track. Mute will mute my vocal track, and now I'll play my music bed. Right? Now if I decided that I didn't want this particular music bed, I could just Control Z, and I've undone that import. Simple as that. Okay, so File, Import Audio, and then we're just going to upload once again. So now we've uploaded our music bed, we've got our vocal track, and we want to mix the two together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, once it's finished uploaded, we're going to, and I know that this is an actual long track, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop, because I don't need the whole entire thing, and then I'm going to actually edit and get rid of some of this, right? So I know that I only need 30 seconds, right? I'm going to mute this just to hear it. And you'll notice the beginning of the song is very quiet. So I'll probably edit. Now if you look down here as well, it actually shows you, right, the audio position. It shows you the seconds. It's like a meter, right? So say for editing purposes, right, if you wanted to specifically edit at a particular spot, then you could actually just change these functions as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to edit a little piece of the beginning because it starts off a little too quiet. So we'll select that, we'll play it. I'm just going to bring that back a little bit, and I could either do it from here or I could do it from down here. So this says 118. I'm actually just going to do it from here. And then I'm just going to hit delete. And then I'm going to actually shave off some of this here, because I don't need all of that, right? Okay, and then go back to the beginning. So I'm cleaning it up a little bit. I probably will get rid of more right here, but I want to hear what it sounds like as is first. And I want to listen to the entirety of my vocal track. Now this track works out perfectly because it's complete instrumental. Now you'll find normally you don't want to overlap your vocal track with a music track that has audio in it because it's conflicting for your listener, right? So what you want to do is normally just have an instrumental track with no vocals in it under your music bed. For this actual public service announcement that we're producing, the first 30 seconds of the music bed is instrumental, so what I'm going to do is just shave all of this off. And maybe even, about all of that. And then what I'm going to do is actually select the last few seconds, and I'm going to go Effect, and I'm going to say Fade Out. So that means the music will fade out at the end of the public service announcement. Okay. The other thing that we want to be concerned or aware of is that you want your music bed to be under your vocal track. You don't want your music bed to overpower your vocal track, because then it will be difficult for your listener to actually hear the track and actually focus on what you're saying, right? So what I'm going to do is just bring my music bed down a little bit by pressing these levels right here, and I'm going to bring my vocal track up up a little bit, and then I'm going to unmute it, and then we're going to have a listen to the entire spot.
It's much better fresh, cold, or warm. If it's not clear, it can make you sick. Animals, trees, insects, and plants use it too. What is it? It's air. That substance that none of us can live without. The National Wildlife Federation is doing its part in America's quest for a healthy environment. You can too. Don't pollute the environment. Our survival is at stake.
And that's your 30-second spot in a nutshell. Now, there's different things that you can do with the track if you want. Like, as I said, you could have highlighted the vocal track, and we could have added an effect to it. But for the most part, you've got your vocal track, you've got your music bed, and it fits perfectly. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to save this. We can either save it as a project, which means that it will save directly into Audacity, or we're going to export it. For the purpose of this project, I'm going to export the file because we're going to now use the same file in Movie Maker. So I'm going to click on Export Audio. I'm going to put it in my PSA Air folder so I can locate it. And I'm going to say public service announcement. And I'm going to say air. And then I'm going to click save. And it says your tracks will be mixed down to 2 stereo channels in the exported file, which is great because you want your track to be in stereo. And I'm just going to call this as air PSA. Now it just allows you to name the file and add certain dynamics to the file, which we're not going to get into all of that right now. We just need to save the file. Alrighty, so there we have it, and I'm going to click on OK. And this file should now actually be in Audacity. This Audacity file should now be in our public service air file. So I'm going to double click on that. And there it is right there. Okay, so now once we actually have our public service audio file, I'm going to close that. That's now ready to go for radio.